Hey guys, today I want to talk about the 4 to 5 mistakes that people commonly make on Jaina. Now, I'm also going to include a build guide in this, and it's just the meta build. I'm not showing any fancy build or anything. It's the meta build that's most commonly used in pro play, most commonly used by the master and grandmaster players, and it's just an all-around good build that fits in a lot of scenarios and a lot of maps. So, to start off, I want to explain the first mistake needs to be explained in a very careful sense because it's pretty situational. But I still see this mistake happen so many times. People get so caught up on their blizzard clearing the whole wave that a lot of times they will clear a wave that they'll miss a globe for. For example, let's say I do this and their tank's right here and their whole team's right here. I can't get this globe, which means that my level 1 talent, if I would have gotten Fingers of Frost, which is the most common one, and that's the build I'm going to actually show you. I don't know why I picked Winter's Reach. But Fingers of Frost means those globes are so important. You're getting 10% more damage, and you're going to get a lot of extra mana regen. Something like an extra 1 per second, which is incredible. It allows you to stay in lane a lot longer. So the globes are extremely important on Jaina. So that's the first mistake, is just being too ambitious. Not ambitious. Being too gun happy with your blizzards and clearing waves that is going to cost you a globe. So what I usually do is I simply let the wave get a little bit closer, and then I'll just use a blizzard on the back line. And if you really want to speed up the wave, you can do an E, just so you don't get any damage to the thing. But then the globe that you get will give you the mana back from your W and your E. So sometimes it's a lot better to just wait, let it push closer to your area, and get that globe a lot closer. That's the first mistake I see. The second mistake I see is the Jainas that aren't doing camps. Jaina has so much macro potential in every single game she plays, and she can do both of the camps very, very quickly. I just want to kind of show you really quick how fast she can do a camp. And if you do take damage, you don't need to take damage. You can simply move in and out, and yeah, it's really, really fast. And then if you take a little bit of damage, the globe will give it back. It's the same thing over here. You just need to make sure that you kill the mage minion first. And a lot of times what I'll do is I will pop Icy Veins on these camps, depending on if I don't see that there's going to be another fight soon, or if I'm stealing a camp. For example, in this situation, I'll show you what it looks like. I'm going to Icy Veins, which I can do that after I do something. Kill the mage minion first, and then you can move around so that not all of the minions can attack you at once. And it's just a nice way, and you can also cancel their auto attack animation because it takes a while. So you can do the siege camp really, really fast without taking that much damage. You don't need to pop Icy Veins, but you take about 20% more of your health. So doing camps on Jaina is very, very important. She can do them faster than almost any hero in the game. So you want to utilize that, and the main power spike for doing camps is at level 7 with Ice Lance, because it allows you to use your Q multiple times during the camp itself. If you don't get Icy Veins, if you don't get Ice Lance, it takes a lot longer. But you're still really fast doing camps because of your blizzard. Putting all that aside, what's the next mistake? The next mistake is in the meta build, which I'm going to explain the meta build now. Let me reset my talents. You get Fingers of Frost. This gives you 10% extra damage in fights, as well as it gives you more mana regen so you can stay in fights, and you can do the macro play longer. The other options is Frostbolt range, but because the range of your other abilities is so much shorter that the extra range isn't that beneficial, because you're not going to be able to get consistent Frostbite, so it's not worth it. The next one is Frostbite Duration. This makes it to where usually there's not too many benefits from this, because if you get the correct abilities here, you're going to have chill on them at all times. So that's not really necessary. But this is sometimes picked in some really different builds where you get like chilled refunds mana, or chill gives you armor and stuff. But no, Fingers of Frost, what we're going to get 90% of the time. Then we're going to go into Frost Shards. Frost Shards pierces targets, and the reason why is, while these other ones are good, a lot of times the tank's going to be in the way, or there's going to be a minion in the way, and you want this to always be able to hit someone so you can keep the chill going, you can keep the cooldown reduction of this talent going. Also, it has so much macro potential with camps. You saw how fast I was able to do these camps because my chill was always, or my Ice Lance was always piercing. Ice Lance is what you need, gives you the cooldown reduction of your Frostbolt. Level 10. We'll talk about these later. It's another common mistake, but for this case, we're going to be getting Ring of Frost, Icy Veins, and then we're going to be getting the Chill and level 20. What has been picked up more commonly in pro play is actually Cold Snap. It's not necessarily for the fact that, oh, it's going to hit people in the middle. It's more for the fact that it reduces the cooldown. So that is why Cold Snap is picked up. And just to kind of show you guys an example, here's the cooldown is 80 seconds. And even if we don't hit any of them in the middle, watch the cooldown, 40 seconds. So even if they don't stay long enough to get hit in the middle, it doesn't matter. Because as long as you're doing Ring of Frost correctly, you're going to have more Ring of Frosts. However, Ice Blink is also picked in pro play just to be able to get people away and to get free chills off. So that's the build. Now let's explain the mistake that I want to go into, which is people ordering their abilities wrong. I'm going to show you what people like to do way too often, which is this. They go in with the Frostbolt to get the extra damage off of the Cone of Cold. And so they'll do this, and then they'll do that. Yes, that's the most damage, but the problem is what's going to happen. You might lose the chill before the Q goes up, which means every time you cast your Q, you're not getting the cooldown reduction nor the mana cost reduction. Do you see? And it was just because of that one combo. So instead, what you need to do is you need to change it up a little bit. If you're going to do Q, wait a second and then do E. But the problem is you're staying in the fight so much longer than you should be because E is such a short range that you're way too close to the enemies. So let me tell you something that's my favorite small combo that works very quickly that isn't very risky. You do E and then Q, and then you can back up and you can go back in and you can do Q again. Now I hit the minions that time, but that's where the great part about Pierce is. So again, I'll show you it's a lot safer. You only need to get in close for one ability, and that's your E. After that, you can stay at the range of your Q and constantly be poking at max range and trying to get this Q off. I almost always get about 2 to 3 Qs off every single time that I do this combo. And the order's much safer. This allows you to use your W for the macro potential and use your combo, EQ, to get off damage and poke and chase and get away from people, as it's great for chasing and for getting away. So this combo of just using your EQ as a bursty combo and to get the cooldown reduction on your Q, you can usually get 2 to 3 more Qs off, and it's a lot of damage. So that is essentially people ordering the abilities wrong. And W also, I see people use that to chill. Don't use that to chill. Save that to follow up a CC, so you can guarantee that you're going to get 2 to even 3 waves out of it. And especially if you get the Ring of Frost and the Numbing Blast combo, because what can happen is if you save your W, you could do something like this, where you go E, Q, and if they stay long enough for you to get another E off, you'll be able to root them with your next E, which means that if you're able to root them with your next E, you can do W, you can root them in the E, and you can kill them off. So that's another combo you can do where if they stay 10 seconds into a fight, you will be able to kill anyone. Which brings me into the next mistake that is commonly made, which is if you're getting Ring of Frost, you should be getting Numbing Blast so you can chill them, so you can guarantee that your Ring of Frost is going to be landed. Yes, I already did a video off of this, but it's still a mistake that I see. So what this looks like is effectively you chill them with anything, and then you Ring of Frost and you chill them, and you can even do a full combo by using your Icy Veins. And with that full combo, you can take out anyone, including a tank. Because what happens is by the time the Ring of Frost chill ends, the Icy Veins will reduce your cooldown of your Cone of Cold to chill them again, to then keep using Frostbolt and finish off them. It's a stupid amount of damage, and it kills just about anyone. So if you do that, you can guarantee that you land your root because you've got your Cone of Cold root at level 16. And I did a video on this. I explained it. It's a very powerful combo, and you can see I was able to just kill one person. Well, guess what? That Ring of Frost might have still hit 2 other people, and my team might have killed those 2 other people. Or maybe it was just a really long death timer. We're above level 20. We get this long death timer. We take them out. So that's a common mistake I see, is just if people are getting Ring of Frost, they're not comboing to where the Ring of Frost always lands. Putting that aside, what is the last mistake that is commonly made? And that is not picking Water Elemental when you should pick Water Elemental. When should you pick Water Elemental? Well, Water Elemental is a very powerful ultimate ability that we've been seeing more and more in HEC. The reason we've been seeing it more and more in HEC is because they've been playing team comps where their team isn't going to be grouped enough to where you'll ever hit more than one person with Ring of Frost, and they've been playing people that are hyper mobile that it's pretty much impossible for your team to kill. They play teams that are really spread apart. And the great part about spread apart is not only does it not work with Ring of Frost, but it works wonderfully with Water Elemental, because if you toss a Water Elemental on someone who is spread apart from the rest of their team, Water Elemental is going to get a lot of value. And because they probably won't have that much damage to take out Water Elemental by themselves, and Water Elemental is going to keep doing damage to him this entire time. So while he's distracted, you could focus on killing a tank. And so you distract like a Hanzo, right? Say I toss that on a Hanzo, and the Hanzo is getting distracted, and he has to move out of the fight, or he has to move towards his healer, or he has to move towards people because he's getting like uber slowed the entire time. And guess what? I've done 12,000 damage to a tank as we're just sitting here waiting. So you can see how much damage you can do as a Jaina while you are distracting out one of their ranged DPS, and it's very, very powerful. It's got a low cooldown, and it's got a very strong power spike at level 20. So I'm going to show you really quick. Now, if you get Water Elemental, you don't get the chill one. You get the lowered armor. Because it just works better with your team. Because what's going to happen is 90% of the time, you're going to toss the Water Elemental on a ranged DPS, and you're going to be attacking a tank. So you lower the armor of a tank, and you just start melting people. But I'm going to show you, for example, what this usually looks like in a fight. What I'll normally do is during a fight, I'll toss a Water Elemental onto like a backliner, and then I'll go in here and I'll just start burning a tank. And you can see with the reduced armor, my Frostbolt did 800 damage to Arthas. It's incredibly strong. So you can see, and the Water Elemental is also copying my abilities. I was gonna say casting and copying, had one of those moments. But yeah, so he's also casting all of your abilities as well. So you are just destroying the tank, and at the same time, your Water Elemental is destroying one of their backline people. So if you're on a team comp where the enemies are going to be splitting up a lot, you want to have Water Elemental. And it also synergizes okay with a team comp that they might be clustering. For example, you could still do this with an ETC who goes Mosh. And that's something that people think is they're like, oh, Mosh, we have to go Ring of Frost to follow up the Mosh. But you don't, because how long does a Mosh actually last? A Mosh lasts 5 seconds, right? So how long does Icy Veins last? 5 seconds. Well, Mosh, you got to count the stun part of the Mosh, right? So 5 seconds, Icy Veins lasts 5 seconds. He goes in for the stun, and you immediately go for a combo, Icy Veins, right? So this is the duration of a Mosh. When Icy Veins ends, it's over. I did 13,000 damage in 5 seconds. 13,000 damage. So I don't need Ring of Frost. Whoever's in that Mosh is already dead. So if they cluster, Mosh wins the game. If they don't cluster, Water Elemental wins the game. It's as simple as that. So that is the 4 mistakes that I commonly see on Jaina, as well as a build guide for Jaina. Thank you so much for watching.